So when we look at these four areas, the first one looking at housing, understanding the complexities of housing. This is chapter 5. This is a whole discussion in itself. But when we look at what are we doing to save the 4,700 vacant lots or vacant properties that are out there, and how to reinvest in them so that they strengthen our neighborhoods, and we understand what are the ways of dealing with affordable housing, gentrification, and growth in a smart way that again benefits all. This is critical in our overall growth in the city, particularly strengthening our urban environments and giving people dignified places to live, and not catering to an outside approach of drawing more people in. We need a balance of both outside and helping within. And I think the longest part of this is that we haven't really helped those who've lived here all their life and put in the longest amount of time waiting for things to happen. So housing is an important part of this because we're looking at being affordable and understanding taking care of those from within. How do we make a dignified housing for all, and understand that we need more variety in housing types that are that's contrary to what the real estate population, the real estate voices might say. And we can look at that nationally and really understand how cities are transforming in that way. The second thing is a targeted commercial areas. So these are things where we need to understand where to build and invest. We've particularly been in Harrisburg focused on downtown as economic development driver, and that has not done us well. So much as we continue to put even housing into office buildings or open space downtown, without questioning maybe the long-term cost of housing that's there and whether or not this is sustainable, and it also is a specific populace that's there. So we need to be looking at a targeted development areas. These are in the areas of Ridge Avenue. We understand with the federal courthouse and the state archives, that's one. The downtown gateway is how do we enter into our building, and any of the transit-oriented development area that's in the transportation sector. We also can be looking at the connections back to 83 and the widening of 83 and how that impacts 17th, 19th, 13th, and 3rd Street. So no one's looking at these things and how what the impact might be. And even though this stuff has been on the books for a long time, we don't have a forum to talk about this well. The third part is open space system restoration. This is looking at any of the open spaces that's green. It could be park space, it can be natural wooded environments, or it could be an urban plaza. To understand our city structure and our neighborhoods, do the neighborhoods have a right balance of local community spaces? This could be playgrounds, this could be open parks. Where do we recreate? Where do we do our recreation? That's something to be thinking about in a holistic approach across the city. And that gets back to the City Beautiful movement. And all of this could be belted together with the green belt that runs around the city. How do we get through that? And how do we move through that using either alternate multimodal transportation? That's all going to come down play in this, that we can't continue to focus on the vehicle, especially when autonomous vehicles are coming down the pipeline. We already look at loss of ridership, understanding of bus rapid transit, our local or regional rail, and connectivity need to be thought about. What is difficult to deal with is we know that that's been something for the past 1993 and beyond. Like, these are things that could have been discussed and put in place years and decades ago. And we're just now getting to the point where, this is important, and we should have put more pressure to see that this happened in the long game. So that's even why it's important now to be thinking about that and put the stress in for 20 years from now. Lastly, number 4 is infrastructure systems. These are also the road network, how that works, but it's also within our infrastructure of piping, what gets dug up, and gas lines and water infrastructure, the stormwater management. All of these things are thought about as a whole system. I would argue that even gets into a smaller grid system where we think about solar power that can be done within a small block group. Maybe within each block there is a solar array that services just a single block of houses or residents. It could be a community center that puts solar on their roof, and now they provide 20,000 around their area. So in the integration chapter, we look at these service areas that could be built up outside of downtown. And this also connects with development. If we look at 6th Street Service Tunnel, as any new development happens, can we make it state of the art so that it's providing for residents that are there? Either there's power This could be internet, this could be cable, water, infrastructure, stormwater management, all kinds of things there. Also, 18th Street Smart Trench is also helpful. That's another area that could be developed. So these are areas of focus in this infrastructure that we need to be looking at. I hope in 2019, this is the whole point of 52 weeks, is that we can come together with a community capacity building mindset that looks at what are the things that we hold together as important, and how do we make that happen? And ultimately, how do we make that happen for the long-term good of all people in Harrisburg, particularly those who've been forgotten over the years?